Afternoon, Frankie, Jack, and Luke. Just going to read the middle part of chapter 4 for you. I'll get started straight away, and I'll just start with a little bit that I finished off with, and then I'll start reading. Right, let's go. She walked down the brick steps to the Mrs. Spink's and Miss Forstable's front door. The blue and red lights flashed on and off. The door was open, just slightly. She knocked on it, but her first knock made the door swing open, and Coraline went in. She was in a dark room that smelled of dust and velvet. The door swung shut behind her, and the room was black. Coraline edged forward into a small anteroom. Her face brushed against something soft. It was cloth. She reached up her hand and pushed at the cloth. It parted. She stood blinking on the other side of the velvet curtains in a poorly lit theatre. Far away at the edge of the room was a high wooden stage, empty and bare, and a dim spotlight shining onto it from above. There were seats between Coraline and the stage, rows and rows of seats. She heard a shuffling noise, and a light came towards her, swinging from side to side. When it was closer, she saw the light was coming from a torch, being carried by the mouth of a large Scotty dog, its muzzle grey with age. "Hello," said Coraline. The dog put the torch down on the floor and looked up at her. "Right, let's see your ticket," it said gruffly. "Ticket? That's what I said. Ticket? I haven't got all day. You know, I can't watch the show without a ticket." Coraline sighed. "I don't have a ticket," she admitted. "Another one," said the dog gloomily. "Come in then. There, bold as anything. Where's your ticket?" "I haven't got one." "I don't know." It shook his head and then shrugged. "Come on then." The dog picked up the torch in its mouth and trotted off into the dark. Coraline followed. When it got near to the front of the stage, it stopped and shone the torch on an empty seat. Coraline sat down and the dog wandered off. As her eyes got used to the darkness, she realised the other inhabitants of the seats were also dogs. There was a sudden hissing noise from behind the stage. Coraline decided it was the sound of a scratchy old record being put onto a record player. The hissing became the noise of trumpets, and Miss Spink and Miss Forcible came onto the stage. Miss Spink was riding a one-wheeled bicycle and juggling balls. Miss Forcible skipped on behind her, holding a basket of flowers. She scattered the flower petals across the stage as she went. They reached the front of the stage, and Miss Spink leapt off nimbly off the unicycle, and the two old women bowed low. All the dogs thumped their tails and barked enthusiastically. Coraline clapped politely. Then they unbuttoned their fluffy round coats and opened them. But their coats weren't all that opened. Their faces opened, too, like empty shells. And out of the old, empty, fluffy, round bodies stepped two young women. They were thin and pale and quite pretty, and had black button eyes. The new Miss Spink was wearing green tights and high brown boots, and they went most of the way up her legs. The new Miss Forcible wore a white dress and had flowers in her long yellow hair. Coraline pressed back against her seat. Miss Spink left the stage, and the noise of the trumpets squealed as the gramophone needle dug in its way across the record and was pulled off. "This is my favourite bit," whispered the dog next to her. The other Miss Forcible picked up a knife out of the box on the corner of the stage. "Is this the dagger that I see before me?" she asked. "Yes," shouted all the little dogs. "It is." Miss Forcible cursed, and all the dogs applauded again. Coraline didn't bother to clap this time. Miss Spink came back on. She slapped her thigh, and all the little dogs woofed. "And now," Miss Spink said, "Miriam and I proudly present a new and exciting addendum to our theatre exposition. Do I see a volunteer?" The little dog next to Coraline nudged her with its front paw. "That's you," it hissed. Coraline stood up and walked to the wooden steps to the stage. Can I have a big round of applause for the young volunteer? Asked Miss Spinks. The dogs woofed and squealed and thumped their tails on the velvet seats. Now, Coraline, said Miss Spink, what's your name? Coraline, said Coraline. And we don't know each other, do we? Coraline looked at the thin young woman with black button eyes and shook her head slowly. Now, said the other Miss Spink, stand over here. And she led Coraline over to the board by the side of the stage and put a balloon on top of Coraline's head. Miss Spink walked over to Miss Forcible. She blindfolded Miss Forcible's button eyes with a black scarf and put the knife in her hands. Then she turned her round 3 or 4 times and pointed her at Coraline. Coraline held her breath and squeezed her fingers into 2 tight fists. Miss Forcible threw the knife at the balloon. It popped loudly and the knife stuck into the board, just above Coraline's head, and twanged there. Coraline breathed out. The dogs went wild. Miss Spink gave Coraline a very small box of chocolates and thanked her for being a good sport. Coraline went back to her seat. You are very good, said the little dog. Thank you, said Coraline. Miss Forcible and Miss Spink began juggling with huge wooden claps. Coraline opened the box of chocolates. The little dog looked at them longingly. Would you like one? She asked. Yes, please, whispered the dog. Not only toffee ones, they make me drool. I thought chocolates weren't very good for dogs, she said, remembering something Miss Forcible had once told her. Maybe where you come from, whispered the little dog, but here it's all we eat. Coraline couldn't see what the chocolates were in the dark, so she took an experimental bite of one which turned out to be a coconut. Coraline didn't like coconut, so she gave it to the dog. Okay, boys, I'll leave it there for now. And you, Frankie. I hope to see you soon. Love you lots. Bye.